Hey everybody, my name is Winston. I take walks. Hope everybody's well. We are here today at the Fallsview Casino in Niagara Falls. This is the beautiful Christmas decorations. I'm based in Toronto. My name is Winston, but today, like I mentioned, we're at Niagara Falls here. I'm going to take a walk through the beautiful Fallsview Casino. It's cold outside, so I'm not going to go outside. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the stroll here. They've got some events here as well, so we'll see a ton of people. I'm not going to go in the casino because they don't allow recording in the casino, and I don't want to get thrown out. But anyways, we'll take that walk. Also today, kind of going in the theme of recently, what I'm going to do is talk about just some financial concepts. So what I'm going to talk about is actually a hot one. It's cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency, more of the common cryptos that people know about are like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Ripple, things like that. These folks here are getting tickets. So you can see there's a ton of people here. Now, in terms of cryptocurrencies, they're very controversial, number one. I'm trained in the traditional financial sense, but at the same time, I accept changes and there are different, we have to kind of evolve with the times. And also, when you trade something, I also believe in terms of trading, really a lot of things are tradable, right? Depending on the liquidity, obviously, is a different issue. At times, liquidity changes. So with cryptocurrencies, obviously, I've been through the cycles with it, with the last boom. So right now we're in 2024. So interesting enough, we've got another boom cycle. But in terms of the original boom cycles, well, there were many, but kind of it's kind of evolved. Actually, it's interesting with cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin. I know a lot of people think of it as an investment. A lot of people actually buy it to use it as a store of value, right? In terms of Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the father of Bitcoin, was born out, I believe, in 2008 after the crisis. And it's really supposed to be used as a means of transaction. That's what the original, intention was. However, people hold it, and Bitcoin, what was it like? I was in the 60,000-ish range. Because I remember it had that nice run previously, and then when rates went up, and Bitcoin could be, obviously they call it digital gold, and the same properties are some of the properties are the same as gold, even though gold has a bigger history, and then also in terms of a lot more places do accept it. But think of it in terms of it's an asset that people hold, right? I know the 21 million Bitcoin mined, the limit. However, you've got Ethereum, like I mentioned, Solana. There's so many different cryptos. It's incredible. And then also in terms of how you actually use it, because I've used both native Bitcoin, and then also, now you have the exchange traded ETF things that supposedly hold cryptocurrencies, so that's great right there. It's very nice. Let me check this out here. So, I mean, a lot of people now just hold it through ETFs and things like that. The native Bitcoin is actually quite difficult to hold, and what kind of wallet you're going to use, and you have to be careful. in terms of the recovery keys and all that stuff. So it is difficult, right? Um, so um, well, in terms of the investability of it, again, it kind of falls into the category of an alternative asset. Um, the problem with liquidity wise sometimes, when you're trying to sell it, it's different obviously with an exchange traded fund, where there is, you'll have some type of spread on it, but most of the time you're going to be okay, right? And people typically don't hold that much. If you hold it in big blocks, that might be an issue. So that's why in terms of like a mutual fund form, it actually might be more, a better when you have some type of market maker that helps you make that market versus because the problem with the native Bitcoin, there are times when you try to use it or transfer it or do something with it, depending on who's mining, the cost can be a lot higher at different points of the day or the night or whatever, right? So that's an issue there. So in terms of the actual investability of it, so the controversial thing is obviously is an asset. If you see people like Peter Schiff who are not believers of it, they hate it. He's a gold person, which gold I think is also very valuable. It doesn't hurt obviously, I'd say, to have some of it. Whether in an ETF or some way where you can get rid of it when you need to, because it does move obviously very in a very violent, volatile manner. Right, already it's almost up to 100,000 now, USD. It seems to be bumping against it, so we'll see it. And supposedly, the big hype on it right now is that Elon Musk is part of Donald Trump's government, and then Trump has talked about in the past setting up a Bitcoin reserve for the U.S. Government, right? And interesting enough, I think one of the politicians has a bill out saying that they want to sell the gold reserves and purchase Bitcoin with it, which that might be not the best thing to do considering the volatility. So within your own portfolio, you got to remember it's extremely volatile, right? And then what I've done in the past is that as it's grown, I've actually monetized or converted part of the profits, and because the thing with Bitcoin and crypto is that eventually it's going to move back down. Like the pattern of it never stays high, right? It goes down, it goes up, etc., right? So that's the thing about crypto, that I it's always kind of worried. Jeez. So that's the entrance to the casino. We will not go in. And then also within each crypto, you have like the Bitcoin Maximus, etc. So you always have that type of controversy. Won't get into that. Ripple. So, people don't like Ripple. There's decentralized or centralized. There's all these different controversies with crypto, but also with crypto, you have to remember it also it's a function of liquidity as well. So when you look at its history, just like with gold and other assets like that, when rates go up, the price of crypto goes down, right? So you got to remember that. It's very simple rules from that sense. Like it's always, everyone wants to get up in the hype, right? And crypto is obviously something where a lot of people will buy it that are novice, and that's where you kind of gotta hold the red flag there, and be aware that too many people who are not necessarily professionals or folks who deal in the crypto markets, when the novices come in, typically that's when you want to be careful, right? Because you want to be careful because that's kind of usually when the top comes in, right? Nothing doesn't go down, and cryptocurrencies do, right? So, and you want to be careful about things like staking, and if there are complications with that, and then in terms of the portfolio, how I would say is, again, there's no problem with cryptos and people who are kind of like hardcore into it. It's either 100% cryptos or none, right? You don't gotta do that. You can put a small percentage. Well, at least I would say what I do is I put a small percentage of cryptocurrencies within my portfolio, especially when they're down. Quite frankly, when they're up, I tend to trim, right? And then when they pull back, if I get some extra currencies, liquidity, I'll buy some, right? So really don't treat it like, at least I would say, at least I don't anyways. I mean, this is not advice obviously, but I don't treat it as a gambling tool because it's extremely volatile. And again, depending on what kind of crypto markets you deal with, because there are future markets for it. There's options obviously you can use as well. So depending on you may want, the only issue with options is the volatility. The vega might be extremely large, right? So that's the one thing I would say that with cryptos I wouldn't advise. I would advise just to be careful with it, but have a portion of that in your portfolio. And then in terms of the sports cards folks and the collectibles folks, the comic books, just remember as well, there is a correlation. I've noticed that with collectibles, when cryptos move up, folks from that market, maybe it's because they're into the same things, right? Sometimes they'll sell and they'll start dumping that stuff and start pushing things like sports cards, I know, the sneaker market, things like that, vintage video games, those types of collectibles, right? Watches, that last great hype, because that last great crypto explosion, caused a lot of those other assets to go up. Hey, even like real estate, right? You'll see people, big crypto investors do that. So, but I think for the average investor though, you should keep your exposure low because it can add value to your portfolio, but the volatility is extremely high, right? And really, when you think about it, it is all relative value. There's no cash flows that come out from it, only a terminal cash flow. It's not an operating business. Quantum computing is something that I've always kind of worried about because, when you study the blockchain, quantum computing can actually break down that blockchain. And if it does that to the algorithm, then essentially, the cryptocurrency becomes worthless, right? Because verification is no longer possible. So, but that's obviously for more smarter people to figure out. As you can see, there are tons of people here today. And in terms of cryptocurrencies, that's kind of my thoughts on it today. It evolves over time. Like I mentioned, have some in your portfolio, and it is a good diversification tool along with the other stuff as well. But anyways, my name is Winston. I take walks. I'm usually based in Toronto, but today here I'm in Fallsview Casino in Niagara Falls. Beautiful holiday. Hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday. If you're you're going to visit here, hey, just be prepared. This is the weekend. Or if you are planning to move here, well, I don't come from Niagara Falls, so just do your research. and or if you just enjoy watching, and maybe you enjoy some of the financial talks I've been having lately. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think the security guard was looking at me. But anyways, thanks for walking with me, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye bye.